This has been a big day in our ongoing energy debate in this country, our energy crisis, and the unshakable intent of our politicians, mainly Labor, Greens and Teals, of course, but sadly too many coalition pollies too. Their unshakable intent is to make matters worse for all of us. The energy giant AGL is going to close its massive Loy Yang A coal-fired generator in Victoria's Latrobe Valley a decade ahead of schedule by 2035 now. In fact, by then it will have shut the Bayswater plant in New South Wales' Hunter Valley too, so it plans to be out of coal altogether in just 13 years from now.
Look, today's announcement is one of the most significant initiatives being delivered in Australia to reduce emissions. We're closing Loy Yang 10 years earlier than previously announced, removing 200 million tonnes of emissions from Australia's carbon markets. It'll be working with our employees, working with the communities of how we reskill, how we ensure we understand what the profiles of those people need to be into the future so we can continue to deliver the energy transition.
OK, so the big question is whether the country will have enough reliable electricity when all this actually happens in just over a decade from now. We've already been caught short in this country, haven't we? We already are in strife. How much worse will it get? Now, no one should really blame AGL. They're just reacting to government policy, which hugely favours renewable energy, has done for a couple of decades, and deliberately makes coal-fired electricity commercially unviable, even though, of course, we desperately need it still. But wait to see what happens next. AGL says it'll need to raise $20 billion to fund the dozens of wind farms and solar farms and batteries and other storage that it wants to build. So we'll all pay for that, won't we? Brace yourself for continued power price increases. On top of that, our energy will become increasingly reliant on the weather and therefore unpredictable and unreliable. Brace yourself for blackouts. And don't let any politician tell you they were not warned. They know what is going on, but continue with their renewable crusade regardless. The federal government was bragging today about how it struck a deal to keep more domestic gas onshore to help us get through the current power supply crisis and the next gas crunch.
At the moment, we're in a global energy crisis. I mean, we've all seen what's happening in Europe.
Yep, at the same time, though, the government is accelerating down the renewables energy path. Does the left hand not talk to the right hand? Too much green ideology and not enough hard-headed practical management. And all this is happening when inflation continues to soar and the ABS is warning it'll go higher soon as power prices increase again. So we are witnessing self-harm on a grand scale. In Queensland, the Labor Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk is all in on this renewable energy religion. She promises to spend more than $60 billion switching to renewables and shutting down coal generation. And she's promising that all the workers currently employed in the coal-fired generation industry will get new jobs.
Minister de Brenni and I went and met personally with the workers today, and can I say they are excited about their future. I met one family and they were very excited about the future because they know this is coming. Everybody can see the world is transitioning.
Oh yes, everybody can see the world is transitioning. Have you looked at Europe? Have you looked at the UK? Have you looked at California? How's that transition going for them right now? But Anastasia Palaszczuk, she makes it all sound so rosy, doesn't she? Which makes you wonder, doesn't it, why so many countries want our coal? Why have coal prices gone through the roof this year as the demand for secure and affordable energy actually soars right around the world? You have to wonder why China is building dozens of new coal-fired power stations. If renewables are so good, why are they doing that? The Chinese, of course, are having a lend of us. They use our coal and our iron ore to make wind turbines and solar panels that they export around the world, including back to us. Aren't we the clever country? Queensland plans to be rid of coal-fired power by 2035 too, just like AGL, and be going to 80% renewable energy by then. Now that's just 3 years after they reach, it's just 3 years after that is that target. Actually 3 years before that, I'll get my maths right here. You've just got to think that 3 years before they reach that target, Brisbane plans to be hosting the 2032 Olympic Games. Now, these games should be a lot of fun, shouldn't they? They'll be back like the ancient Greek origins of the games, because they might have to run all the events during the day so that no one is worried about keeping the lights on.